There are so many jokes I want to make, but I feel like if I say them too soon in the video, YouTube censorship algorithmic thing will just demonetize the video. So I gotta hold off. I gotta not talk about it. You know we're gonna talk about it. You know it's the only thing anyone's gonna be talking about from this chapter for the next week. We gotta talk about it. We just gotta wait. We gotta wait like a minute in. We're almost there. All right, we're almost there. Speaking of being almost there. Anyway, let's just start from the top. So this is a Denji-focused chapter. We don't see Asa this chapter, and Denji is going back to school in the attempt to live a normal life because he was threatened by Yoshida, basically saying that, hey, if you become Chainsaw Man again, if you're doing what you're doing before, we are going to kill Nayuta. We are going to make your life a living hell. Like, everything is going to be worse for you. All you got to do is just not be Chainsaw Man. Like, you're not captured, you're not in custody, you're not going to be tortured, like nothing's going to be wrong. Like you can live life like a normal person. But Denji trying to live life like a normal person is exceptionally difficult. Now Denji here in this chapter very much seems like he's just going through the motions, and I've talked about this in the other chapter reviews of recent, where it seems like Denji pretty much his entire life, he's never really had the opportunity to choose. He's never really had the opportunity to live his own life the way that he wants to, because he just never had the means to, or people are constantly manipulating him or pushing him to do the things that they want him to do, or, you know, he has to, even though he has a good relationship with Nayuta, he has to take care of her. Like, he has all of these things that constantly pop up that kind of stop him from just doing what he wants to do. And this like Chainsaw Man thing he was doing, you know, everything after part one, in between part one and part two of Chainsaw Man and through part two, has basically kind of been Denji like doing what he wants to do, like still feeling that sense of emptiness, still needing and longing for, you know, some type of connection in some way. But it was this rare little tiny pocket of time that he was actually able to do something that he wanted to do, as opposed to just listening to somebody else or being forced under the whims of somebody else. And now he's kind of back in that same situation where he has to go through this mundane, like normal life situation. And for many, many years, like that's what he wanted. Like he wanted a normal life, but things have changed. Like the stepping stones of how he got from point A to point B and everything that he's experienced has shifted. And here we see him going through school, and he is still wearing the Chainsaw Man shirt. And of course, this one nerdy kid that looks like that kid from Polar Express, you know what I'm talking about, kind of comes out and says, you know, oh, you're supporting a victimizer. And it just has this aura to it that it's kind of like how people perceive each other, basically, like in the modern day, basically in the internet age, right? You see one little thing on somebody's profile, or you see one thing that they share, or just the smallest little indication of what this person might think, and then you create this entire narrative about who they are and what they believe and what they support. And, you know, people go off of like the smallest things and then just go from 0 to 100 and how they, you know, view somebody. It's a very easy way to put somebody in a box. Like they see you, they just see like a shirt you're wearing, and then obviously, I know everything about this person, I know everything that they think about, I know everything they identify with, so therefore I can make an entire full well-rounded opinion about this person based upon the t-shirt they are wearing. And that is kind of that's kind of what happens in life. So you have that. So you have the Chainsaw Man detractor, and then you have the Chainsaw Man supporter that comes up, and they go at it. Denji gets punched. You know, watching this scene, it is kind of funny, but it does a couple of things. Like, it's funny, but it also is kind of relatable to ways, you know, people view each other in real life. But also, it might play into whatever kind of plan is happening with having Denji not be Chainsaw Man. Because this might actually be part of the intent. This might actually be part of the plan to have this sort of confliction within the populace of Chainsaw Man himself. Like, have half the populace kind of view him as some kind of great figure, and then have the other half view him as a victimizer, or whatever you want to call it. So to have people kind of go head to head like this, and to constantly have this argument, to constantly have this confliction, it's interesting because we actually do have like two Chainsaw Men out there, right? Because we have Denji, and then we have whoever the fake Chainsaw Man is. So there is like these opposing sides that are conflicting in some way, that are, you know, building up this animosity, building up this tension. And could it all be for a particular purpose? Could there be a reason that Yoshida or Fami or whoever else want people to be at odds with each other for a specific purpose? So that could also be a thing. Then Yoshida, he tries to play the good cop card here. He tries to say, you're gonna have a normal life now. Hey, we could skip class. Wouldn't that be fun? Isn't that what people do? Isn't that what kids do? And then Yoshida takes Denji to a movie theater that it does a couple of things here. First of all, it's very reminiscent of when Denji went to the theater with Makima, because that was sort of like an awkward experience between the two of them, and kind of focusing on the screen and focusing on these characters that are having Fujimoto writes a lot of times based upon, a lot of the fiction that he saw and that he likes and that he enjoys. He's a big movie buff, admittedly. And the thing about movies is that, it's not only this escape from reality, but it is also like a gateway into somebody's emotions, right? And being able to feel something, being able to be inspired by something, to make you think about something, to kind of, even bring people together. It's this thing that I think that two people, if they like the same movie or if they go to a movie together, sometimes there is that shared bond, that shared experience. It's just a way to connect with other people. It's a way to get on the same like emotional wavelength as somebody else. And so there's that awkward moment with Makima, and now there's this moment with Yoshida. And it's interesting that Fujimoto decides to use movies as sort of like that gateway to kind of like showcase this weird connection between two people, or at least trying to even force a connection between two people, that there shouldn't even be a connection here, but let's just go see a movie together and then we'll, kind of force it together. And it's also a way to kind of have Yoshida explain to Denji that he's not the main character here, which is an interesting thing that he says, because he's talking about, the characters on screen and everything, and the devil that was killed in front of them, and it's already been destroyed, and it's going to be taken care of, and it's like, we didn't need you. You're not the main character, which is also like, which is ironic because the manga is Chainsaw Man. So he is the main character, but Yoshida convincing him that he's not the main character of this, that he is probably just a pawn to be played within this grand scheme. Whatever the oncoming apocalypse is, wherever the Death Devil is, Denji has a role to play, but he is not the main character. He is not the protagonist of whatever Yoshida is orchestrating around him. And I'm not even saying that Yoshida views himself as the protagonist. He probably doesn't. He probably understands that he has a role to play, and he's getting Denji to try to understand that you have a role to play, but it's not to be out in the limelight. It's not to be in the spotlight. It's not to be the hero. It's not to be the protagonist. And now, okay, I think we're far enough into the video. Let's talk about it. Yoshida brings a girl to basically, how do I want to put this? Sexually assault Denji. What is happening here? Okay, so Yoshida brings a girl to the theater as he departs, and he's like, yeah, I brought you a date. Who is this girl? I don't freaking know. I don't think we've seen her before. Now, just head theory here. She does kind of, in a way, resemble Asa, but I also don't want to be, like, completely ignorant, because I'm sure there's a lot of, like, long, dark-haired girls that wear the same school uniform, so maybe she's not supposed to actually look like Asa. But I think the intent of Yoshida here is to give Denji what he wants, which is this normal life, to distract him, right? And it is a well-known fact that Denji wants to get laid. I mean, everybody wants to get laid. Well, most people want to get laid. Most dudes want to get laid. Most teenage dudes want to get laid, all right? And Denji has stated this fact many, many times. He also has an extremely awkward, horrendous history with women. And so to have a girl already, like, be on board, like sit next to him, be happy to be there, and then just immediately touch his cock, you would think that this is something that he would want, that this is something that he would want, but this is only from the viewpoint of somebody like Yoshida, who thinks like, oh yeah, Denji likes girls, he wants to get laid, all right, I'll find someone to just kind of like, he probably, I'm not saying this chick's a prostitute, but he probably paid her off in some way, or she's some kind of devil character, which we'll get to here in a second. But the point is, Denji's feeling low. He's feeling out of it. He doesn't really want to talk and communicate. He even tells her when she sits down, like, look, like, I got, like, no charisma right now. Like, there's zero riz you're going to experience from me. And then she just immediately touches his wiener in a movie theater, which is something I've often thought about, because, I kind of want to, like, get a blowjob in a movie theater, but I also don't want to ever be kicked out of a movie theater. But it is, like, low-key, like, kind of something that, like, Anyway, if this character is a devil, here's some ideas of what she could be. The sexual harassment devil, the erectile dysfunction devil, the thought devil, the blowjob devil, the blue balls devil, the hand job devil, the OnlyFans devil, the cock and ball torture devil, and many, many more. Could this character actually be a devil? I don't really know. But I think, to be kind of serious for a moment here, I think that this is actually a really smart decision for the manga because many, many times, the thing with Denji, I feel like, is that obviously he is looking for some kind of deep human connection, right? He is looking ultimately to feel valued by another person, to be, physically close to somebody. And yes, there is the overwhelming desire to have sex. Yes. But it's not just that, right? It's not just the physical act that you detach yourself from and that's it. He's looking for somebody to actually give a shit about him. He wants to have sex with somebody that cares about him, that afterwards is still going to care about him, right? And so Yoshida giving him this opportunity to probably get laid. This chick is probably DTF, whoever she is, whether she's a regular girl, a devil, mind control, some kind of whatever the hell she is, she's DTF, all right? But that's not the point. Will Denji do it? Probably not. And I think that that is going to be a testament to his character because in many instances, you would want to. But with Denji, I've especially never doing it before, right? He wants it to be more than just some random freaking chick, right? At least maybe I'm reading too much into it. I don't know. But I would imagine that he does. And especially, the experiences that he had with Asa. I think, and I've been shipping this since the very beginning, I think Denji is already, having a massive crush on Asa. Asa is obviously already having, a crush on Chainsaw Man himself, but we'll get there eventually. And I think that having this girl look like Asa could play into even more of Denji rejecting it because it's not the real thing. It's fake, And that's why these things don't work. And that's why, whatever. I could get really deep on that, but we'll skip that today. But that's why a lot of this, throwing the sexuality in your face kind of thing doesn't work sometimes is because, we know that it's fake. Like Denji knows that it's fake. He knows that it's not real. He knows this person doesn't actually care. All right? He knows this is probably just business. He knows she was paid off. He knows that there's not an actual, desire between the two of them. And I think that just like, the other fake shit that's happening in the manga right now, fake Chainsaw Man, fake normal life, fake this, fake that, everything's fake, I think my man Denji is going to turn this down. I think that he'll probably have some confliction, and afterwards he might say, maybe I should have done that. But I think ultimately he will. Anyways, guys, what did you think about this chapter of Chainsaw Man? Fujimoto never seems to disappoint with, the random shit that he will throw in the manga that you just don't expect. And that's one of the best things about reading this, is because I like when I can't predict stuff. And if you would have told me last week that this week we were going to have Denji have his cock, unconsensually touched in a movie theater by a random new character, since it's Chainsaw Man, I'd be like, all right, that probably might happen. But, I wouldn't have thought of it. You know what I mean? Anyways, guys, let me know what you thought of this chapter down below. Leave your thoughts, theories, opinions, comments. Where do you think the story is going to go from here? And how do you think Denji will get out of the situation? Will he go for it? Will he not? And if this is a devil, what is the title you would give this devil? I want to know. Other than that, guys, thanks for watching this video. Go ahead and like it and comment because it will help it out in the algorithm. And if you want to support the channel on a deeper level, I do have a Patreon merch store, channel memberships, all that stuff linked down in the description below. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you next time.